China's President Xi Jinping attended a grand welcome ceremony in Moscow. It was organized by Xi's dear friend, Russian President Vladimir Putin. Moscow laid out the red carpet for Xi. He was welcomed by the Kremlin's cavalry guards and greeted by the Kremlin commandant. The two leaders stood side by side as a military band played out China's and Russia's national anthems. The US has said that when it comes to Ukraine, China is not impartial in any way. The comments came after Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin displayed their friendship. Earlier, the US had urged Xi to press Putin to respect Ukraine's sovereignty. A joint statement by China and Russia accused Washington of undermining global security and NATO of barging into the Asia-Pacific region. Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida met Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky during his unannounced visit to Kyiv. During a joint news conference, Zelensky said he would join an upcoming G7 summit online. Japan will host the G7 summit this year in Kishida's hometown, Hiroshima. Kishida's visit comes in the backdrop of Xi Jinping's visit to Moscow. Mexico's president has rejected a report by the United States that highlights human rights abuses. President Obrador called the US State Department liars and said that the US believes that it is the government of the world. The report highlighted unlawful or arbitrary killings by the Mexican police, military and other officials, forced disappearances by the government agents, and torture and inhumane treatment by security forces. The Honduran foreign minister says the US respects the country's decision to establish diplomatic ties with China. Honduras's decision risks its ties with Taiwan and its allies. China does not allow countries that it shares diplomatic ties with to maintain relations with Taiwan. The US State Department warned Honduras that China makes many promises but does not fulfill them. The US will announce further sanctions against Myanmar. A US State Department official said the sanctions will make it more difficult for Myanmar's junta to generate revenue to buy weapons. Myanmar's military staged a coup in February 2021. It overthrew a democratically elected government led by Aung San Suu Kyi. So far, the US has imposed sanctions on 80 individuals and more than 30 entities in Myanmar. The East African country of Uganda has introduced new penalties for same-sex relations. The Anti-Homosexuality Bill 2023 was passed after a highly chaotic session. It bans activities that promote or encourage homosexuality. Uganda is a highly conservative and religious country. Homosexuality is already banned. In 2009, Uganda introduced an anti-homosexuality bill that included a death sentence for gay sex. Protesters in Paris continue to demonstrate against the controversial pension reforms. In the latest, motorbikes were set on fire along with rubbish piled up on the streets. Fire engines were deployed to put out the blaze. Police fired tear gas to disperse protesters. This comes in the aftermath of the French government narrowly surviving a no-confidence vote. Education support staff in Los Angeles and the US state of California have launched a 3-day strike. Bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and classroom assistants are protesting to demand higher wages. Classes were suspended for nearly 500,000 students in Los Angeles. The Prime Minister of Greece has announced that the country will hold elections in May. The elections will come in the aftermath of the nation's deadliest rail disaster. It triggered protests and piled pressure onto the government. The Greek Prime Minister was elected in 2019. His popularity took a hit after the train disaster, which killed 57 people. Former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan will lead a meeting of senior Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party leaders to discuss political and national affairs. Khan has also agreed to sit with rival parties to discuss a national consensus on elections. This comes as civil society members urged him to diffuse political tensions. Remember, Khan has received protective bail in 2 cases related to terrorism. Polish and Dutch fighter jets participated in a joint military exercise. Polish MiG-29s and Dutch F-35s performed on-air interception maneuvers over Polish airspace. Last week, Poland announced that it would send 4 MiG-29 fighter jets to Ukraine. Poland will be the first country to provide Ukraine with fighter jets. TikTok's chief executive has doubled down on the company's claims that it has never shared US user data with the Chinese government. The statement comes amid growing US national security concerns. He added that TikTok's parent company ByteDance is not owned or controlled by any government or state entity. The Chinese-owned short video app has over 150 million daily users in the US. Credit Suisse's merger with UBS may lead to some layoffs in India. According to financial experts, the move will be made in a bid to rationalize staff at Credit Suisse. The crisis-hit bank's equity strategist, Neelkant Mishra and Ashish Gupta recently quit the bank to join India's Axis Bank group. Credit Suisse currently employs about 7,000 people in the subcontinent. Entertainment giant Disney is preparing multiple rounds of job cuts before its April 3rd annual shareholders meeting. The first job cuts are being targeted for as early as next week. March 30th or March 31st have also been floated as possible dates. Insiders say there will be a big layoff wave in late April. They're describing the next round as the big one or a bloodbath. Wall Street CEOs and US officials are discussing an intervention at the First Republic Bank. They're reportedly exploring the possibility of government backing to encourage a deal. The US government could play a role in lifting assets out of the First Republic that have eroded its balance sheet. Additional ideas include offering liability protection, applying capital rules more flexibly, and easing limits on ownership stakes. Dozens of American companies, including Netflix and Boeing, are in Vietnam this week. They're hoping to push further into the fast-growing Southeast Asian economy. Vietnam has emerged as an attractive potential alternative to China. American companies are looking to diversify their markets and supply chains. Senior executives from 52 US firms are taking part in this business mission. Nike has raised its full-year revenue outlook after reporting quarterly results that beat estimates. The company saw strong demand for its sneakers, including classic styles. These include the Jordan Retro sneakers and newer franchise launches such as LeBron 20. However, the company's apparel inventory fell in the third quarter. Nike posted revenue of $12.39 billion in the third quarter, beating estimates of $11.47 billion. The Writers Guild of America has proposed allowing artificial intelligence to write scripts. The proposal mentions that AI scripts must not affect writers' credits or residuals. The Guild had previously indicated that it would propose regulating the use of AI in the writing process. The proposal would allow a writer to use ChatGPT to help write a script without having to share writing credit or divide residuals. Google is opening up access to Bard, its new AI chatbot tool that directly competes with ChatGPT. Users can now join a waitlist to gain access to Bard. Google said it will start rolling out the tool in the US and the UK. The news comes as Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and other tech companies race to develop and deploy AI-powered tools. Twitter rival Mastodon now has more than 10 million registered users. The platform rose to fame after Elon Musk took over the reins of Twitter in October last year. Several celebrities and journalists have joined the Germany-based platform. They made the move after flagging potential misinformation concerns with Twitter. The world's first electric air taxi network is preparing for the 2024 Paris Olympics. The vehicles are being called the Volocity air taxis. They will fly with one passenger and one pilot. There will be 5 vertiports where passengers can board the vehicles. The first vertiport opened in November and is functioning as a test center. The team of experts is currently thrashing out whether they need extra landing pads in case of problems. A 6.5 magnitude earthquake struck Pakistan and Afghanistan on Tuesday. At least 11 people were killed. More than 100 people were hospitalized in the Swat Valley region. The earthquake triggered landslides in some of the mountainous areas. Its tremors were felt in Tajikistan and India. Parts of the US state of California witnessed yet another onslaught of harsh weather. Drone videos show roads and farmland submerged. Homes and vehicles have also been inundated by floodwaters. California witnessed its 12th atmospheric river storm. Forecasts predict up to 3 inches of rain in the coastal regions. Climate activists gathered in Washington, D.C. to protest against banks financing fossil fuel projects. The protesters sat in their rocking chairs at the entrances of Citibank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and JP Morgan Chase. This played out just a block away from the White House. Protesters cut up their credit cards and pledged to quit what they call big, bad climate banks. The United Nations has said that overconsumption and climate change have led to severe water shortages around the world, and it has become an endemic. It has pointed out that 2 billion people lack access to safe drinking water and more than 3 billion lack access to sanitation. The UN has also warned that global warming will worsen the shortages in areas with presently abundant water. The Chinese capital Beijing was affected by dense sandstorms. It severely impacted visibility. A yellow sandstorm warning was issued. The sandstorm has caused pollution levels to increase drastically. Beijing has recorded an air quality index of 500. This is considered very hazardous to human health. An NGO in Brazil planted over 30,000 trees to reforest a mangrove wetland. This is to mark Water Day. It also escalates efforts to protect river water and marine life. The project started in 2021 to regain almost 13 hectares of mangrove wetland in Guanabara Bay. Local fishermen also participated in the project. Brazil has ousted all illegal gold miners from the Yanomami territory. This has been done to battle environmental crime and defend indigenous people in the rainforest. Yanomami territory has been invaded by thousands of gold miners. These miners polluted the rivers, spread malaria, and scared off the wildlife. This led to malnutrition and thousands of deaths. The population of monarch butterflies arriving in Mexico this year fell by 22%. Millions of monarch butterflies migrate to Mexico's forests in winters for their hibernating period. In recent years, climate change has caused a considerable impact on the butterflies' migration pattern. Mexico's Michoacan state houses the country's largest butterfly reserve. Moving on to sports, we begin with cricket. India's men in blue are facing Australia for the final ODI in Chennai's Chepauk Stadium today. The crucial decider is underway. Australia have won the toss and decided to bat first. India registered a 5-wicket win against Australia in the series opener at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai on Friday. However, the visitors bounced back in the second ODI at the Dr. Y.S. Rajasekhara Reddy Stadium to level the series. In football news, Arsenal is set to take on Major League Soccer All-Stars in July. Arteta's team will journey to Washington, D.C. on July 19th. The MLS All-Stars team has roped in former English striker and legend Wayne Rooney to coach them for the iconic exhibition match. Bayern Munich edged past Arsenal 1-0 in the first leg of their UEFA Women's Champions League quarter-final tie. Leah Schuller's first half header proved enough for the hosts to outclass the Gunners. Arsenal failed to get the ball past Munich's goalkeeper despite creating multiple chances through the game. The second leg of the tie will be played at Arsenal's Emirates Stadium. England's Jack Grealish has said that the whole squad backs manager Gareth Southgate's decision to stay on as the team's manager. Grealish added that Southgate's decision will help the team reap rewards at next year's European Championship. England will launch their Euro 2024 qualifying campaign against Italy on Thursday. Italy beat Southgate's team on penalties in the Euro 2020 final. Wolves owners Fosun have opened talks over a potential investment in Belgian club KV Oostende. The announcement comes as Fosun is looking into expanding their portfolio of football clubs in Europe. Fosun officials are set to meet representatives from the Belgian club's owners, Pacific Media Group, later today. The Belgian club is currently facing relegation from the Belgian top flight. A decision on Antonio Conte's Tottenham future is expected in the next 48 hours. Insiders say it will be difficult for Conte to continue as the head coach following his outburst after a 3-all draw at Southampton on Saturday. Sources close to Conte insist he spoke out on Saturday because he wants Tottenham to sack him. Novak Djokovic is now officially set to compete at the Serbia Open. This will be the 35-year-old's third consecutive appearance at the tournament. This year's Serbia Open is set to be held in Banja Luka, a city in Bosnia and Herzegovina. The venue has been changed due to ongoing renovations at the Novak Tennis Center in Belgrade. Japan has won the World Baseball Classic, defeating Team USA 3-2. The game ended in dramatic fashion. Japan's Shohei Ohtani struck out his Major League Baseball teammate Mike Trout with a full-count slider. Japan won all 7 games it played in the tournament. The next version of the World Baseball Classic will be held in 2026. Lewis Hamilton has revealed that his comfort is being held back in this year's Mercedes Formula One car. Hamilton has blamed a specific design element not suiting him for the dismal performance in the ongoing 2023 season. He thinks his situation could be helped by the team bringing more downforce to its car. Hamilton is also pushing for Mercedes to make the car's rear more stable. He placed 5th in last Sunday's Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. NBA Hall of Famer Willis Reed has passed away at the age of 80. The 7-time All-Star spent his decade-long career with the New York Knicks. Reed famously took to the court in Game 7 of the 1970 NBA Finals against the Los Angeles Lakers, despite suffering a leg injury earlier. The moment defined his career and thrust him into the NBA's GOAT list. The former Knicks player also won the 2 championships during his illustrious run. The Hong Kong screening of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey has been cancelled. The British horror film was due to release in Hong Kong on March 23rd. The film's distributor gave no reason for the cancellation. Chinese censors have long targeted Pooh due to comparisons with President Xi Jinping. Canadian singer The Weeknd is the world's most popular artist. The 33-year-old set a new Guinness World Record. He's the first and only artist to reach 100 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Amitabh Bachchan gifts his Shahenshah jacket to a Saudi fan. The 80-year-old actor wore the jacket for his 1988 hit film. The black jacket has a steel arm. The arm alone weighs 18 kgs. The fan said, "You are an honor not to India only, but to the world." Actor Dylan Sprouse and model Barbara Palvin are engaged. Palvin was photographed with the ring at a recent Mammoth Film Festival. Former Disney child actor Sprouse met Palvin at a party in 2017. The couple made their relationship official in 2018. Actor Vanessa Hudgens is making a travel documentary. The half-American, half-Filipino actor will make her first trip to the Philippines. The 34-year-old will travel across her mother's birth country. Director Paul Soriano will direct and produce the series. Actor Sharon Stone lost half her money in the Silicon Valley Bank collapse. She said she lost half her money to this banking thing. The actress shared the news at a cancer fundraiser. Silicon Valley Bank collapsed on March 10th. Paramount Global's partnership with media firm CJ is rolling out its first series. Sci-fi drama series Yonder will launch globally on April 11th. The Korean show will be available in the US, Canada and the UK. The show will stream on Paramount+. Actor Gwyneth Paltrow is being sued in a 2016 skiing incident. The Oscar-winning actor is being sued for $300,000. An optometrist, Terry Sanderson, sued the actor for skiing out of control. Sanderson claims she collided into him at the Deer Valley Resort. He claims the crash caused him brain injury and 4 broken ribs. The trial began in the US state of Utah on Tuesday. Rapper Bad Bunny is being sued for $40 million by an ex-girlfriend. Carliz de la Cruz Hernandez claims her voice was used without her permission. The Grammy winner used her voice recording for 2 songs. Bad Bunny had offered to buy rights for $2,000, but she refused. Bad Bunny has been Spotify's most streamed artist for the past 3 years. Oscar-winning director Peter Werner dies aged 76. Werner was suffering from heart complications. Werner is credited for the hit television shows Blue Blood and Law & Order Special Victims Unit. Werner received the Best Live Action Short Oscar in 1977.